everyone. Matt Malatesta and Matthew Ogle. It is On My Whistle volleyball regular season coming to a close. We're moving into the postseason, which we love. Win or go home. It's that time of year, O's. Okay. Dawson in 6A and in 5A it's been Friendswood. They've been riding the whole season. Basically is number one. You're just getting ready to launch the new rankings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, two-time state champ, back-to-back. Grand Oaks has moved up. I mean, they had a blip because Hallie Thompson wasn't there early in the season, and they had a very tough preseason schedule. They are humming right now. Let's talk about 6A first. And we'll talk about playoffs coming out.
Mm-hmm.
The brackets are kind of coming out. Who can win this thing? And let's call it small 6A first. Last year was Stratford. They make that run. Stratford is also starting to kind of get their legs under them after a slow start. They got to beat Memorial to win that district this week. Who else do you love in small 6A playoffs?
Well, based off of the early trajectory for the Region 3, Tompkins is going to Division 2. That is going to be really intriguing to witness. I thought that district would be a little more competitive, and granted, like Katie Jordan's had a really good season, really been thriving. Seven Lakes is always a powerhouse. Even though they're so young, they're just, I don't know. I don't see any glaring weaknesses for that program. I think I really got to see these brackets, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from Tompkins. I think Tomball would probably be Region 2, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's another team, the Toms, this year. I don't know. My favorite, I would say Tompkins out of Region 3.
Yeah, I think they're playing really well. They're big. They got great size. They're just balanced, very balanced. And I like what they do. I still feel Stratford has got a good shot. They're very well coached. They have a lot of big time pieces. And Audrey Cook, I love their girl in the middle, Mila.
And then Gwen Koss.
Gwen Koss, amazing. I still think they're kind of that team you gotta beat. You gotta put your foot on the neck to get them out of the playoffs because they have that experience. And I just really think that's going to come down to an interesting matchup. I'm not saying that everybody else should go home and not going to make it because you know how these people on the podcast police are out. Everybody's whining about the podcast because we actually have a take on something, not just delivering boring news. Anyways, I do feel like Tompkins and Stratford will end up in the regional final.
That would be epic.
Boom!
Just like last season.
How epic. Fireworks, glitter cannons.
Yeah, I think there is something to be said about the way that they've rallied and put things together in the latter half of this season. I think their record isn't, if you look at their schedule, playing all these tournament teams.
You're talking about Stratford.
Stratford, yes. Throughout the early portion of the season. And I think maybe that now that they're really healthy, and I think there's a lot of teams that fall into that category of, hey, district is where we really thrive. It's where we figure out our identity. And I think Stratford, I think they just needed to be reminded, hey, we know what we're capable of.
Right.
We were in the state final last year. I think Tompkins, I got to go see that matchup. Tompkins versus Stratford. Hopefully it won't be too far of a drive, but congrats to Adcock and company now.
Also, Stratford dealt with losing a 6'5" player that decided not to play volleyball this year to get healthy to further her career at Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another kind of big deal in Sarah Hickman.
Little wrinkle, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's cool to see how that plays out. This is great volleyball, and I'm telling you, these playoff matches get turned up, and the play is so electric in these big venues that it's really fun to watch. Okay, Big 6A now. Ridge Point, you better come on with it. I need Ridge Point to come on strong because remember, I don't want to remind people, but early on I said I would shave my head if Ridge Point doesn't make it. I'm not sure I'm going to live up to that, but Ridge Point is doing very well. They're on the come up. But the number one team in the city who has dominated the headlines has been Dawson. Is this the year that Dawson finally punches the ticket to state?
I think it is.
I don't mean to put you on the spot right there. I know your relationship with the Dawson fan base, but what do you think?
I don't see any holes on that team. Speaking with some other coaches, I'm asking them like just to fact check and just be everyone's saying fact check true. They are legit. They don't have. They've hardly dropped any team against any team throughout
Right.
the season, and getting almost 40 wins in the regular season is in and of itself an achievement. But given that they know what they're capable of, they have. I mean, whenever it comes to Avery Coonson, Jenna Thedford, they have the Ranny sisters. Even Coonson's younger sister gets some playing time. And
They're balanced.
they are this. If there is a team to reach state for Dawson, because they always have hype, and deservedly so, they are competitors. This is the year I think that they could potentially punch their ticket. I would say Region 3 D1's the toughest.
Lauren Leth, the head coach there, of course, has taken another job. She becomes a principal, I think, at an elementary school or an assistant principal at a middle school.
She's riding out this last season.
And she's going to ride out this last season. But what's cool for them is this. They're balanced. Everybody's got a hole in their rotation. 6 rotation. Like somebody doesn't have a setter and the defense is kind of weak. The middle's not that great. The right side's not great. They're okay. They don't have to hide anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They don't have to hide a position. They're balanced all the way through. That's what I really do like. I see in the bracket that a Ridge Point 7 Lakes matchup and the regional semis could be looming. On the bottom half of that bracket, Dawson could play whom? Who's their toughest match to get to the regional semis?
Well, this is all hypothetical, of
Right.
course. Got to win that opening round. But in the area round, they're going to be playing likely Clear Springs, who is having a tremendous season. I think when they're comparable to another sport, they're like whenever Joe Burrow's there, the Bengals. Like no one wants to play them in the playoffs because they are so explosive. They have so many weapons, whether it be Kaylee Young or Liana Kearns on the backside. Like they're just, I don't know how that district is very competitive when you got your Clear Creek, your Clear Lake, your Dickinson, Deer Park, and they are undefeated in 24-6A. But it's not just that; it's the other teams they've played throughout the exhibition stage, the tournament stage. Dawson, I think that's going to be a very intriguing test because, as you mentioned, they are extremely balanced, but I don't know if they faced an offense quite as determined as Clear Springs. But I would say Dawson advances past that. That would be, if there was a 5-setter in the area round, I'd say that might be it.
Let me remind you. Let's go back a couple months.
Okay.
You remember a team? What was the biggest upset of the year? Last year, it was Clear Springs softball beating the number 1 Katy Tigers softball, and they made a run all the way really deep in the playoffs. Did they go to state? Yeah, they were
in the state championship 6A.
So, can the Chargers catch lightning in a bottle again? Do you see what I just did right there? You saw that? Chargers catch lightning in a bottle again in volleyball. I don't think so. I think Dawson makes it to the regional finals for sure. And then when they play Ridge Point, it's going to be super athletes with instant highlight filmers and Ridgepoint versus a well-balanced, no holes Dawson. I think that's what
Well,
happened.
you say when. The winner of that Clear Springs Dawson matchup would likely have to play Fulsher.
Yeah, that's
the
we
round
forget.
after
No, we
that.
slept on Fulcher. We just
Yep.
slept on Fulcher like that.
Yep.
Why do we do that?
Yeah, no.
Why'd you do that?
I'm gonna let you rattle off sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
That's where we get those sound bites like I'm gonna shave my head if Ridgepoint doesn't get there. Just putting a stamp, remind you folks that's what was promised. But
You're right. I forgot Fulcher is in that bottom half of the bracket.
in the top of the bracket, you can't forget about Atascocita, who's playing Ridgepoint likely in the area round. And then there's also Seven Lakes. Like
There's great volleyball coming up.
Absolutely.
Fulcher could sneak up.
Fulcher,
they're experienced. They're so experienced. And they every year they're in the damn state tournament.
Yeah.
Whether it's 4A, 5A, 6A, take 7A,
whether it be
SBC, private school,
whether it be Big Sister Skinner or Bailey Warren, like every year after that, you're thinking, oh, they lost this girl,
Right.
and then they be like,
okay,
and yeah.
Well, I tell you what, this is a shout out, a call out for Fulcher. If Jada Skinner's got a ball out, and the Voskuil girls got a ball out. Ball out! If they don't, they ain't making it that far. I mean, they're not beating Dawson.
TBD.
Okay, so then I feel Grand Oaks is going back to state.
Out of Region 2, that...
yes.
I love me some Grand Oaks. If there is a team out of Region 2, 6A, it's going to be them. Hallie Thompson, she's actually being named an All-American and getting that distinction this week.
All-American? She can be the freaking Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, what did All-American whoop-de-do?
Yeah, but
whoop-de-freaking-do.
the thing is, you got to remember these Dallas teams.
I ain't trying to trip on them.
I do. I mean, I do all these Dallas rankings. I do a top 10. I could easily do a top 20 or 30 with how many good teams there are.
If Byron Nelson would be small, right?
They are likely going to be 6A D2.
Okay, that's the only team that can beat them.
I would agree.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 5A.
Let's go. Who do you love? I mean, Friendswood. Come on, Friendswood. Dude, Friendswood, it is time for Friendswood to step up and win this whole thing. Because they have the power. They have power, defense, setting. They got it. This is their year. Nadia Shelby, just, I don't care. Do not try and be cutesy. Just give her the rock and just let her just pound it all the way to Round Rock. I don't think they play in Round Rock.
They play in Garland.
Exactly. Pound the rock all the way to Garland. I was trying to make it sound cooler.
At the Colville Center.
Yes.
Don't forget.
Okay.
Don't forget. But yeah, I mean, you got...
They're going to state Final Four.
This is the last year that they could have that opportunity. But then again...
they still have a team next year, right?
I mean, yeah, Coach Polk, she's doing great things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shelby, she's graduating. Caroline Adams, Haley Patton, they're graduating after this year. So if this is the time, it's now. Time is now, as always. But
who is a sleeper in 5A?
Another team I wouldn't want to play, and we'll get to Barbers Hill in a second, but Montgomery. They, in terms of a stat line, I've never seen one so inflated based off of that. I just think it's because there's just players that tower over, not necessarily in their own team, but there's just players that doesn't matter how you address it. They're going to get their stats. They're going to get their points. And that player is Delaney Wright. She has almost 650 kills on the year, which, if you want to put it into perspective, I think of it like last season. Like, granted, Grand Oaks didn't drop a whole lot of sets, and they don't usually, but Hallie Thompson had like 400, maybe 500 kills. This girl has 650, and it's not even the end of the regular season yet.
Yeah.
And then there's their setter, Ava Collins. She has almost 1,200 assists, so that's their bread and butter right there.
Right.
And that's a team that I thought Lake Creek was going to win that district.
Right.
And granted, College Station, I think, won it. But Lake Creek, they've had their fair share of struggles this year. And I think that's to be expected when you lose a player like Peyton McKee.
Who's
But
doing great in college.
absolutely. But they've recovered and rallied. They're going to make the playoffs. They got their Kansas Lamar, Taylor Woods, Ryan Mockery, and a very great coach in Coach Kane. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have some upset potential in that. I think it might be 5A D2, 5A D1. I got to figure all that out. But Montgomery, the Bears, I love their jerseys. I just like purple. I don't know. I don't know why. Like Fulshire, whether you got your Ridge Point, I don't know. It's just a cool aesthetic. But
So you're basing the
no,
by- you're basing them by,
I don't know why
this
I brought up
sounds
color.
like some sort of sorority like, hey, who do you think's going to win the game? Well, whoever has the coolest uniforms. I don't hate that, but I mean, yeah. So you're saying Montgomery's got to run. I'm telling you, Barbers Hill, their district is pretty weak, but that's okay. You got to win the games. You got to win the games, and they have a tremendous record. Their coaching is very good. Barbers Hill is a school that has a very high bar set for all sports, and they continue to raise the bar or meet the bar. So I think they're going to go.
Their ceiling is always high. That's
Very
the
high.
thing. And like I thought that they would take a step back this year whenever they lost Kinley Gibbs, who was like their big time player. And then the year before, after losing Peyton Fidel and Chloe Morgan, like you just always assume like if you lose players of that caliber, there's going to be some growing pains. But no, Kenley Irwin has been balling out, and she was their leading assassin last year, leading killer. But then you got like Julian Melancon. She's their setter.
Melancon.
Melancon.
Melanson. What the heck?
Mina Ludwig. There's just a lot of.
That's a Louisiana name. Melanson.
Okay, Melanson. But good for Coach Veen, always keeping that ceiling high for the Eagles. And I think the last team we got to give a shout out to are the West Fork Gators.
Yes. How about them? They just started like, I don't know,
3-4 years ago.
It seems like they just started this year. They had like an 8th grade team, and now
it's
they're
like their
in the playoffs.
second year of full on varsity ball.
That's awesome. Good for them. Love to see new schools just pop up out of nowhere. West Fork. I guarantee you, no one knows where West Fork is. But I know Matthew Ogle does. Okay. All right, so that's a look at it. Hey, we're going to follow this thing all the way through the playoffs. We'll be talking about players of the year. We'll talk about surprise of the years. There will be upsets in this playoff. It might not be this week or the first round, but it will be as we get down the road. I'm excited to see it. Okay, Matthew Malatesta, Matthew Ogle, hey-o, Alex Henson on the mic. And this is Sixth Rotation. Let's get it. Get after the games. Alex will be at a game tonight. Bridgeland versus Cy Ranch to see possibly who wins that district as well. Okay, volleyball is our middle name. We'll see y'all at the games. Another rhyme. I don't even know. I can't stop.